At the last minute, the game gave us the research. We were able to save the herd at the cost of only 3 Compsognathus. And in completely unrelated news, the gift store is now selling a limited run of very realistic Compsognathus plushies. This is it. It's time to complete the final challenge here in Jurassic World. We're loading into Southwest USA. We've knocked out all of these other ones. How hard can it be? Like, really? Oh my gosh. What is this map? What is this map? There's no open areas anywhere. Well, I hope the dinosaurs are okay with a significant downsize in terms of their exhibits from what we are used to building. Oh, and look at this. We caught the developers being sneaky. They were like, we're going to give them an incredibly tactically interesting and challenging map and hit them with the cheap trick of giving them $500,000 in park upkeep right out the get-go. No. Larry, what makes you worth $100,000 a minute? No. I don't want to hear it, Larry. I don't want to hear it. How are you going to feed your family? That's not my problem. You're the one who went to school to be a dinosaur scientist. Now that we have downsized our crew, it is time to do some relocation. So we're going to pay a few $1,000s to be able to move our opening arrival point from this garbage corner of the map. And I've targeted this zone as maybe the most open and connected area. We'll see how it works out. It should make our start a little bit better. After this, the plan is going to be having little islands serviced by a monorail to be able to get guests around this maze of a park. But we have to get there first. They guess won't mind if the first thing they see when they step into the park is this diesel generator grinding along, trying to keep energy to everything, right? Phase 2 of our opening sees us planning out the fence line for our very first exhibit, trying to really hug the outer boundary here because we don't have a lot of space, so we've got to make the most of it. We also want to make the most of this water feature because terrain editing is going to be 500% more than we're used to. Usually tailoring an exhibit to the dinosaur's liking is a no sweat whatsoever. But here things are going to have to be done differently. Now, an awesome thing about this park is we have wild dinosaurs everywhere. And unlike the UK, we also have starting money. Oh, we're going to be able to make an amazing opening here. While the Gigantospinosaurus are so close, they are not actually what I want to begin with. We have a roving band of ceratopsids out here that I want to hunt down because they will cohabitate more happily with some of the other wild dinosaurs that we have out here. We have some nodosauruses, and the ankylosaurids don't really like the stegosaurids, so we're going to try and avoid that species rivalry and just pick up these guys to start. We'll be able to set up some more exhibits later on that can utilize all of our starter dinos. And hopefully that will give us a nice happy income to expand from there. It does look like we might need to sedate these guys if they start causing problems for us. Right now they're roving away, but when you get this danger to guests, it's going to take a sledgehammer to your safety rating, and then guests won't want to show up. And we can't afford to have the crowds lessened, especially right when we open. So if they get too close or we get too many of the claw marks, we'll just sedate the bunch of them until we're able to expand. I'm sighting down this zone for being an exhibit for them. We could also throw them in over here. Alright, Ranger team, get me a welfare scan on some of these new guys. Want to make sure that they are comfortable and the exhibit is well suited to them. You guys are going to have to let me know what you're going to be interested in seeing after this. This is our final challenge mission. And I'm not really sure where I want to go with more Jurassic World content after this. Here's the Alpha Cosmosaurus. What do you need, my friend? You need some ground leaf. Okay, well, we want to be a little more stingy than usual with the ground leaf because look at that price tag. Oh, the terrain editing is really going to bite out of especially our early profits here. No, don't get into fights. I don't have a hospital. Do not try and challenge for Alpha. Okay, Gigantospinosaurus, you guys have lost your free roaming privileges for the day. I'm going to send you guys all into a 10-minute timeout. Well, I figured if these Gigantospinosaurus were going to be a pain and we had to sedate them anyway, we might as well throw up a few fences and be able to get them making money for us. So that's what we've done. We have caged off this other little lagoon, and this is also the location of the wild Compsognathus herd that is over here on this side of the park. So all those guys are now also going to be included, and thankfully they get along with any other dinos whatsoever. Oh no, why can I not put the gate in? This is actually making me really happy because just fencing in the Compsognathus allowed me to avoid having to send the capture team over and manually shoot down these tiny guys. We're starting to turn a tidy little profit, but there's still some more wild dinos we can capitalize on. So we're gonna go hunt down the elusive Nodosaurus, our friendly little ankylosaur that is going to love living alongside the ceratopsids that were in our very first exhibit. And here they are. Will Avian Pox has got its grip on all of our Compsognathus, so do we try and save them? Is it even worth it? I think this little guy just has to catch it, and then they'll all have it and satisfy the quarantine requirements. So we're gonna hold out for that happening. All right, come on, little guy. Why are you still healthy? Oh, I guess there's a Compsognathus that's still healthy too. They all have to catch it. Come on, guys. This is the quarantine zone. Oh, honestly, we could move the healthy ones away. Does that sound stupid? That's what we do here, right? I'd already started this third exhibit anyway, which is why it's pretty well along at this point. We'll throw it on the fence. I don't think it's going to stay this shape. I might want to be able to get guests inside to have a better viewing angle, or this might actually work out with the viewing platform to see up over and into the back corner there. We'll see. At the last minute, the game gave us the research. We were able to save the herd at the cost of only 3 Compsognathus. And in completely unrelated news, the gift store is now selling a limited run of very realistic Compsognathus plushies. We should bring back the healthy ones here before they have any issues with a loneliness. You guys were the ones who survived the horrors of the avian pox. And now, I mean, really, the park is doing pretty well. We've run out of wild dinosaurs. Quarantine zone here would make a great new exhibit with, you know, a little bit of tailoring. So I believe that is where we are going to look to expand to. Now the question is, where do we want to go for our next dinosaur? We have the Dilophosaurus, which we got unlocked for free. I don't really want to use him, so we're going to have to do some research to be able to pick things up. Looking at our research options, we have a ton. We've got a little bit of lagoon here and a little bit of aviary. Obviously, that's not where we are expanding to next, but I just like knowing everything that we have, all the tools in the toolbox, as it were. The medium and large herbivores are only hadrosaurs. We have every single type of hadrosaur, but no sauropods aside from this guy, who is kind of worthless. On the small herbivore side, we don't even have our starter Pokemon. We don't have him? Wow, I've never started a park without him. On the armored frontier, we have pretty much everybody. Great variety to see here. We'll see how well we are able to work those in, because I believe they will be okay cohabitating with the hadrosaurs. And then the carnivores, we're going to have to lean on very heavily to be able to pick up our appeal. We can go no T-Rex. The biggest thing that we get is the Spinosaurus. Okay, we're gonna need to get creative here. Ah, no raptors either. Okay. Okay, game. My game plan is that we go for baryonyx here, and then we build up to be able to grab Suchomimus because they cohabitate really well. They're both fairly high appeal carnivores. They're gonna go great in this corner of the park that we have, and we're gonna have to look for other opportunities to start setting up additional exhibits along the way. But the Suchomimus baryonyx is going to go over here, and that's how we're going to hopefully hop into the next star level. Baryonyx is now viable, so it's time. I think I've been remiss to cover all of the challenge criteria, but we should do that now before we get into releasing him, because there are some very unique things at work, at play here. So, terrain editing costs 500% more. We've already seen that. It's really expensive to set up these exhibits for the dinosaurs. We have a max of 6 power sources. These storms here knock out your power plants, and you're not allowed to be able to build upgrades upgrades to your buildings. So we cannot get storm protection on the power plants, and that means we are extremely limited in terms of both our power plants and then using backup generators to be able to keep things running. It's a very sticky situation there. Then we get these two that are paired down here. Lifespan minus 90% for dinosaurs with negative health trait, and lifespan minus 90% for dinosaurs with a negative combat traits. They don't care about social traits, it looks like, but this is going to kill your dinosaurs so fast. We are going to need to either be very selective with our dinosaurs that we release, or we're going to have to be very smart in terms of how we modify our dinosaurs' genome. So here, the baryonyx has a chance of being thirsty. It's only 25%. It's not a big deal. Let's see what we're able to do about that. The new patch where you can randomize the color of the dinos. I do love that. I do love that. So we have health up here, combat over here, social in the middle is what we don't care about. If we can get thirsty completely off of them, that would be great. What does it take? We have to have a dinosaur die of dehydration and release 2 dinosaurs with the thirsty trait to be able to mod the trait out of all future dinosaurs. So is that worth it? Alternatively, we just don't select thirsty dinosaurs to be released at all, and we incubate way more eggs than we need to for the rest of the game if they have the thirsty trait. It kind of looks like all of these are similar. Yeah, you have to release dinosaurs with the trait to be able to mod the trait out. That is going to be a major decision point on this campaign mission. We got all 5 eggs with only a 60% survival rate. That is amazing. And only 1 negative trait, which happens to be aggressive. I think we leave that one off because we're looking to a future where they will be cohabitating with another piscivore, and aggressive would ruin that. They like water, rock, open space, obviously fish. All right, what's the story going to be in the exhibit here? I think we have little rivulets going on. And I know it's going to be too expensive, but I want to move. Maybe the raise and lower terrain actually is not affected. It looks like it's not too crazy expensive. It just makes the exhibits look so much more dynamic. I don't care if it's going to cost me too much. And I unveil the baryonyx. It looks so cool to see them with all the different skin colors. It just, yeah, I love that. Tiny quality of life improvement, but still, it does feel great.
Okay. I'm Isaac Clement. Together.
Now we want to immediately jump over to the research. The puzzle of having to release them before you can get the feeder. Pretty frustrating, but here we go. Wait. Park is now making more than $300,000 per minute. Tax will be deducted from income above this threshold. Was that always a mechanic? Have I always been paying income tax? I feel like that's new. How have I played this game over 100 hours and not picked up on that? Alright, finances. Okay, so we have lawyer fees. Here's the income tax. So we get income tax when we're over 300,000 a minute. That's not profit, that's just income eating into our bottom line. Maybe that has always been there. Alright, there's 4 very happy baryonyx. And if we check their needs, I think we would be able to fit in a few more to be able to bump up the appeal rating of this zone even more, which I would really like. I mean, we put a lot of money into unlocking them, researching them, etc., etc. Let's go ahead and synthesize another batch. And they got a pretty premium exhibit here out of all the other exhibits. Oh, I wasn't able to modify anything. Just assign the scientists and start the incubation. So we take these 2. These guys need to rest. Oh, we are just running on thin margins. At least that's what it feels like. I guess expanding into these baryonyx is pretty early to be able to throw in some of the high attraction dinos. So our profit is not bad. It's definitely not bad for this stage. We could probably go ahead and update the amenities to all be mediums. Yeah, we're running on just these small amenities. That's probably what is slowing us down. I do kind of love how we have our park infrastructure just set up right around here, around this little hill. We've got the ring around, it's not useful space for anything else. And speaking of things I love, we've also got our monorail set up. This one is snaking through the canyon into our latest area. We have expanded. So we have added in Corythosaurus, Kentrosaurus, and a Margosaurus. So Corey, Kent, and Amy here in this exhibit. And then we have our carnivores here, Carnotosaurus, within this exhibit, all around balancing things out with the park and able to support maxed out medium amenities right now. There's a little bit of overcrowding. We could probably go to large amenities, but I'm going to leave it because space is really tight, and I think as we expand to other areas of the park, the traffic might balance out a little better. The rest of the monorail snakes on for really just an empty canyon tour. Maybe it's not actually worth the price of admission, but hey, people will pay to see the Grand Canyon, and that's just walking. Here you get to ride, so there have to be some people that are going to be interested in that side of the monorail. It's definitely time, though, to make this empty part of the canyon tour a little less empty, and I am sizing up this zone right here. Look at this. Tabletop flat, picturesque views right off the side. This would look incredible if it was turned into a lagoon. The idea that you have this lake pool right on top of the cliffs, I think is going to be very visually interesting, and the contrast, blue and orange, oh, I love it. The question is, how big are we going to be able to make it? And what is the best way to optimize placing it out? Someday they will give me a blueprint mode. I won't have to build with trial and error. Why is it just short of 3 units? Look at this. It's within. Why? Okay, we're gonna have to angle things just a little bit at a diagonal to be able to pull this off, I think. I think that'll be the trick. Now we have to wait for these to delete. Nope. Oh my gosh. Well, there we have it. That's the layout. It's missing this corner, which is making my OCD angry with me. But if I'm able to squeeze a path through here to be able to get a viewing gallery on this side, that'll make it feel a little better, a little more worth it. Ooh, actually, I could make this the basis for the hatchery to keep that out of the way of any of the other viewing zones. But then again, if we go... Oh, I'm not going to be able to research those until I have an operational hatchery. I think to be able to see to the back corner of the lagoon, we actually will need a viewing platform over on this corner. So we will leave it. Now we need to reroute the monorail to be able to accommodate our new setup. We'll get a station placed over here, so I have to select, down here. Edit monorail track, and then give me a new station. Now approaching Lagoon Station. Nestle this up right against the edge of the map, and now rejoin to the existing tracks. Running power over here is probably also going to be kind of important, so let's get that set up. Get ourselves a nice little substation nestled up right against the monorail, and then not quite sure the rest of the expansion that we're going to have over here, so we'll run the paths first. What do you guys think? Can that little pocket right there only hold a bathroom, or can it actually pick up some amenities for us? Well, we'll see. We might be able to squeeze something else over here in the very corner, but it will be tight. It will be very tight. Think skinny buildings. Now, like all good additions to the park, we also need a response facility over here. It would actually be fun to turn this corridor into an exhibit. We could probably fit, somebody small over there. We have Ichthy here ready to go. Modified genome. I love the ability to randomize right here. So we'll just throw in a random skin color, random pattern. We don't get to see a really good view of these guys when they're in the lagoon, but I still like to pop over and put that on them. Now they are weak, which means that if they get the weak trait, they're only going to be able to live for 10% of their normal expected lifespan. They are also intolerant, which is not going to affect their lifespan, though intolerant is not great because I want to put the Tylosaur in here. There is quite the web of required research to be able to get your genetic modifications, or I shouldn't say required research, but required criteria. You have to release multiple intolerant dinosaurs. You have to release multiple dinosaurs with the negative trait to be able to research the modification to have the positive trait. So we're kind of just stuck, and we're going to use these little guys. Hopefully, if they pick up the negative traits, then I'll be releasing enough of them to be able to mod them out for the future batches. To be able to get our viewing stands, we need to improve our team here. Looking at a number of new recruits here, we especially would like, hey, cheaper research, and he already has good logistics. He's not cheap. He's expensive per minute, but it could be what we want. Here, cheaper incubation on a low price tag. That actually looks really nice too. All right, we're gonna say goodbye to my cushy bottom line and pick these guys up to be able to do the research to get the lagoon up and running. So, where is it? Attractions. Lagoon viewing stand, and another 2 million out the window, but cheaper research man over here should be able to knock that down. We save 600,000. I guess his salary should pay for itself with the discounts to research. We're picking him up early enough. We have a lot of high price tag research we will be doing. I'm going to go ahead and release the intolerant one, just on the basis that that is going to allow me to later on get the research to breed it out of them. Okay, fitting in that lagoon viewing stand has made... Oh no! Is it too tight? Or wait, can I do something like weird shenanigan where we can connect to this path? No, I can't. Oh, we are too close to the edge. No. Alright, it means that we have to put the lagoon viewing stand down here, which leaves this corner open, but because of the extra space up here, we could put an extra viewing stand right up there to be able to cover that corner. I think that is the solution that we will use. And just totally wreck the path that we had initially laid out. Paths are cheap. It was only a blueprint. Time to begin incubation. We do have one intolerant in here, so we're going to go ahead and throw him in, hoping that that will allow us in the future to be able to mod that trait out of them. And of course, wanting to use cheaper incubation Meng over here to be able to reduce the cost, cut as many corners as we can. At 4 million, we're not hurting for cash, but with major expansions on the horizon, we want to be able to have as much of a nest egg as possible. With the restrictions we have on power distribution here, only 6 power sources allowed, I would really like to be able to get the large power station. I've never done that. I've never gotten a large power station. We're going to do it here, and then I think that will allow us to consolidate so much power production out of the large power plant that we can have more backup generators to help things not be completely disabled when a storm hits, or because they have modified the sabotage rules. Sabotage seems to be happening fairly frequently, and they took away the theft sabotage option in favor of some of the other more quote-unquote interesting options that they said, one of which is knocking out your power stations. So we will have to face a lot of power distribution issues, and going to the large power stations with backup generator systems I think will help us out quite a bit. I'm also trying to get away from all of the electrified fencing because it is so unreliable in this mission with the way the storms will take out your power supply. But that's a gradual thing, because fences, if you're trying to update a lot of fences at once, it actually takes quite a while. We're here to found the lagoon. Release. There's the Itchy. What do we call him? What's his little nickname? I want to say Itchy, but it's like Ichthyosaurus. Yeah, I don't know if I would actually pay money to see this guy, even if he was like, it's a dinosaur we brought back to life. He looks like a fish. With the release of those little guys, Tylosaurus unlocks automatically. Time to hunt him down on the world stage and be able to get our new star attraction. It is time for the grand reveal of our new star attraction, the Tylosaur. We have 2 twin Tylosaurs ready to be released into the lagoon. Very expensive dinosaurs to work with, but also major money makers. So these guys hopefully will usher in a new era of prosperity for the park, because full disclosure, we got a little bit ahead of ourselves in terms of training our staff and thus giving them salary increases. So we kind of stalled out for about an hour, and then, oh, these are all disabled, yeah. We stalled out for about an hour, and our bottom line was really weak. We ended up firing a few staff members, so now we have a smaller team, leaner team, be able to bring that profit line up to be able to develop the big Tylosaurs. So now that we have them, hopefully we can just push forward, and I would love to be able to just turn all these on and start making money. A success on that plan. The lagoon here is able to support 2 sets of maxed out medium amenities, which I really like. So we have this set of 3 over here, we have this set of 3 over here, and they are all, all operating at max. The appeal ratings here are absolutely through the roof. Great stuff to be seeing. That itchy died of old age. How are the Tylosaurus feeling? Would they be okay with a third one squeezed in here? They want a little bit more area, but they haven't encompassed the entire lagoon. A third one might be a little tight to be able to work in. We could maybe squeeze it in, but then I think they would be below perfect. It could still be something that we do. There's the 4 stars. Ah, incredible. I believe all of our wild dinosaurs have been dying out, so Chasmosaurus 6, he would have been probably one of the last of the original Chasmosaurus batch that we caught out in the wild. I believe that the Spinosaurs over here actually have a very large lifespan. Yeah, so here's an old guy. Expected lifespan 82. He's made it all the way up to 91. Man, tell us your secrets, my buddy. What other populations do we need to stabilize here? We should really get the research going so that we would be able to repopulate the Gigantospinosaurus, because right now we don't even have the capability to do that. I think that is going to be our next priority. Otherwise, things are holding out fairly well right now. Gigantospinosaurus over here. He's a high-level Stegosaurid. Probably the highest level of anything they gave us to start with. And we get the Stegosaurus for free? I did not research this. That's actually really nice. These guys are very high appeal, and they cohabitate more happily than the ceratopsids, I think. I think they do. Don't quote me on that. Someday they'll give us a DLC where I can click here and then click over here and go to where they are on the map. Because saying it's in the Ziluwijing Formation B does not help me. Oh, there's the death of one of our Gigantospinosauruses. Alright, good thing that we are in progress. We have our dig going. We'll be able to repopulate before they get too lonely. The last few old ones. The Gigantospinosaurs are going to be brought back from the brink. Their population was teetering with only 2 remaining in the exhibit, but we're now able to synthesize. We had a big disease outbreak followed by a storm, and it's been a little bit getting back to this point, but here we are. The really challenging bit of having to spread out your exhibits so heavily here is that your park infrastructure, like response facilities and especially paleomedical facilities, are stretched really thin. So I only had the one hospital for a while, and having to drive him over here and then all the way over here to help the baryonyx, and they were just never getting to the lagoon. So the lagoon now has its own set of specialists because the Tylosaurs are that valuable for the park. If we take a look over here, they are the star attraction, and because they alone are bringing in 3,200 appeal or thereabouts, they're about a third of the reason why people want to come to the park at all. So we're definitely going to take very good care of them. Oh no, that was one of the Gigantospinosauruses. That means there's only one left, and he's going to be getting really lonely. We'll see if we can get some friends in for him before he kicks the can. Here come the airdrops, and the population has been stabilized. It feels good. These guys were here before the park was founded, and if we're not careful, they will be here after it. As our park has been growing, even though we've been converting over to the non-electrified fences, our power demands keep on increasing. New contract. Let's go for popular Popular or ticket sales. These are both usually really easy to be able to complete. We'll take ticket sales.
I do this because I love
But
the
we need
craft,
more power
but a
production,
little extra
and
in
I
the
think this
bank
is going to be
doesn't
the first time that I'm going to be able to build in a large power station. Usually the small stations are more than enough, especially because you can normally upgrade them with an upgrade that will allow them to produce 90 units of power instead of 60. And that is fine with just a couple of them to be able to support a 5-star park. But here, they don't allow us to build any of the building upgrades, so grabbing the large power station is going to give us more than enough to be able to keep on going. And I am curious about the efficiency in terms of running costs between the small ones and the large ones here. Even if it wasn't more efficient, I would still want to go for it, because here on this map, we're only allowed to build 6 different power sources. So we need them to be consolidated into these massive large power stations, if at all possible. Alright, large power station is up, and running costs. Okay, so 60,000. It looks like you only pay for what you are producing. So it's not necessarily that it is more efficient in terms of running costs to power production. It's just that it is able to have a higher cap on what it can produce. With that completed, we are firmly in the 4-star territory, which, with the way these challenge maps go, is about halfway. So I'm going to have to wait for the next episode to see how we top up to 5 stars. If you guys are enjoying this series, then leave a like and let me know in the comments where I should go next with Jurassic World Evolution 2. This will be the end of doing all of the challenge maps on Jurassic Difficulty, so I would like to see what other kind of Jurassic World content you guys are interested in. As we look at where we're going to be expanding this particular park in the future, I really like targeting this zone as a potential expansion. We could have a monorail landing right here or right here, and then 2 exhibits in these open areas, and we should be able to fit in the cluster of guest amenities to be able to fully monetize that zone of the park. We also have this open space that we could convert for maybe some of our larger, higher appeal attractions. Not sure if that would be a large carnivore, or if we'd put the Stegosaurus in here with somebody else to cohabitate with him. That could be a fun expansion. Otherwise, the rest of these snaky zones seem like they're going to be hard to utilize, so I would like to fill up these spaces first, see where we are at, and what it's going to take to make that final push to 5 stars. Until next time, thank you guys for watching, and have a good one.